Hi, welcome to Street Priest Ministries. I'm your host, Brother Jay, as we're taking the Gospels back to the streets. Today's drive-through message is the walls of Jericho, Joshua. So turning your Bibles to Exodus 17:9. Now we're going to do a lot of skip tracing today when we study Joshua, because we're going to cover a lot of his life, training he had with God to give him the ability that he needed to lead the children of Israel into the promised land. Now this is the last message of the year. Happy New Year to you. Hope 2018 you be blessed and have success in your lives, and part of your success make a promise, a resolution, if you're going to make one, to give God's way for this new year, starting out with first fruits. You can go on streetpriest.org, streetpriestministry.org, and get the teaching on giving, first fruits, tithing, alabaster box. Do it God's way, starting out this year. Start out with added and extra blessing and protection from God. Start out in God's favor, giving God's way. I have it on the social media sites, all the teaching on giving. Would you like to have a first fruit angel? God promises to go before you in Exodus 22. So do it God's way. Now we're going to study a guy that did do it God's way, and he had much success in his calling and leadership with God. When you dot your I's and cross your T's with God, God gives you tremendous blessing for doing it His way. He opens tremendous doors for you. If you're hard-headed and rebellious, we're going to see the opposite here too. People want to do it their way. That's the essence of sin, is rebellion. You want to go your own way instead of God's way. You see how God deals with them. So we'll start out what did I say? Exodus 17:9. Yeah, Joshua dotted his I's and crossed his T's when it came to the things of God. He's a great success story in the Bible of a warrior that did what he was told of God. It's just plain and simple. And that's why we go through God's Word. Because God's Word is a revelation of Himself. And in this Word, the Bible says all the promises in God and in Him are yea, and in Him are me. So all these promises is a fishing expedition for us to grab hold of, and whether it's in the Old Testament or New Testament. Whether that promise is to Joshua, we can claim it. Or to Moses, or to any of the Old Testament, or Abraham. Any of the Old Testament characters, David. You can take them promises that God gave to them and claim them as your own. All the promises in God and in Him are yea, and in Him are me. God's Word is forever settled in heaven with His promises for His children. Okay, so Exodus 17:9. And Moses said unto Joshua, choose out men and go out and fight with Amalek tomorrow. I will stand on the top of the hill with the rod of God in my hand. So Joshua did as Moses had said to him and fought with Amalek. Now this is Joshua's first introduction onto the scene. Now Joshua, to give you a better backdrop, he was a slave in Egypt as well. He went through the Red Sea with Moses and seen the miracles of God. So that's his background I should have started out with, but to let you know, Joshua done seen a lot by now. He done he was up there on the mountain when he didn't go all the way up, he was halfway between. with the thundering and everything going on. Joshua's got a lot of exposure to God and his ways. So Joshua did as Moses had said to him and fought with Amalek. And Moses and Aaron and Hur went up to the top of the hill. And it came to pass when Moses held up his hand that Israel prevailed. And when he let it down, his hand Amalek prevailed. That's symbolizing support of God's man. When his hands were held up, they held his hands because his arms got tired. Sometimes God's men can do things with just them and God. But sometimes it takes the congregation. It takes other members to help hold and sustain the pastors or God's leaders' hands up. He can't do it alone. There's certain things God and I can do by ourselves, no problem. But I've always grieved when I had to depend on others to help me with a certain part of a ministry to do certain things. It's always been like a thorn in my side because of the flakiness and inconsistency of people. They're not steady by nature, most people. They're not reliable, they're not dependent. But some cases I had to depend on. And that's a situation here where Moses couldn't do it alone. It's a street priest ministry. It's an international internet ministry. I done streamlined and because of the flakiness with people, and I had a little small crew, and I had to downsize pretty much because they didn't have their spiritual armor on. They were blown away by them. So I ended up doing a lot of things in this ministry myself. But certain things I had to depend on others for. I've done as much as I could to keep things afloat. Because nobody's going to do the job like you. And that's financial and in every other aspect. It's time for some of you fat cats that have been sitting here just gobbling up the teaching to start supporting so this ministry can expand. This is where I could depend and need to depend on others to hold my arms up. Talk is cheap. Yeah, I love your prayers and all that. Thank you for that, but money is what rules in King Dollar's court. If you want to expand, if you want to do more things, it takes money. And Moses' hands were heavy, and they took a stone and put it under him, and he sat thereon. And Aaron and Hur stayed up his hands. And the one on one side and the one on the other side. And his hands were steady until the going down of the sun. And Joshua discomforted Amalek and his people with the edge of the sword. God, he wiped them out. Discomforted, old flowery King James language. He killed them, wiped them out. And the Lord said unto Moses, write this in a memorial in a book, and rehearse it in the ears of Joshua, for I will utterly put out the remembrance of Amalek from under the sun. It's Esau's people. And Moses built an altar and called the name of it Jehovah Nissi, which means the Lord is my banner. The Lord is my flag. Okay, now we're going to go. So you got an idea of Joshua getting battle hardened. We'll go to now to Exodus 32, 32:17, I think. Yeah, 32:17. Exodus 32:17. See, before God dumps a whole lot of responsibility in your lap, he trains you first. And you go through stages. And that's what we're learning here about Joshua. And he makes you battle hard before he gives you full control of the steering wheel. Okay, 32:17. And when Joshua heard the noise of the people as they shouted, he said unto Moses, there is a noise in the war of the camp. And he said, it is not a voice of them that shout for mastery, neither it is the voice of them that cry for being overcome, but the noise of them that sing do I hear. Now, Joshua was in between the mountain as Moses was up there for 40 days, getting the commandments from God, fasting and praying, and worshiping God on the mountain, getting his marching orders. Joshua was in between the mountain, and at the foot of the mountain, you had the people's pastor, Pastor Aaron, that wanted to please the people, as the people pastor do. And he built them a golden calf. Said, this is your God, bow to this. Because Moses has been up there too long, he's probably dead. So we need to manufacture a God that we can see, something with our own hands, that we could worship. And Joshua was unaware of it. He was in that in-between state. Got a lot of Christians in that in-between state. They're neither in communion with God on top of the mountain, and yet they don't know what's going on in the camp. They're disconnected. They're in between. That's where Joshua was right now. Moses, God already told Moses that they was down there having an orgy and worshiping Baal. So Joshua was unaware. And Moses didn't say anything. Moses already knew. And he's going down there, so I'm not going to read no further than that, but Moses goes down and kills 3,000 of them at the foot of the mountain. Before he kills them, he grinds the golden calf up and makes gold dust soup out of it and makes them drink that before he kills them. He killed 3,000 of them. Good old Pastor Moses. And God said it was okay. He did a good job. I was going to wipe them all out. All right, so moving on. Verse 34:9. Now Joshua is Moses' right-hand man, so we understand that. He's the successor. He's being groomed for it. Okay, so let me see, 34, what did I say? Oh, Exodus, let's go to here first. Exodus 13:33. Exodus 13:33. Sorry about that. Joshua's getting groomed for the job. And $32.17. Okay, it's one of those drinking days. Don't worry, we're gonna find our way. All right, let me see, 32. Let's see, 33. Let's see. Okay, Exodus 32:13. Remember Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, thy servants, to whom thou swearest by thy own self, and saidst unto them, I will multiply your seed as the stars of heaven, and all the land that I have spoken will I give to your seed, and they shall inherit it forever. And the Lord repented the evil when he thought to do unto the people. And Moses turned and went down from the mount, and 2 tables. Oh, I just took you guys. I'm so sorry, I just took you in a circle. Okay, let's go over to chapter 33. And the Lord said unto Moses, depart and go up hence, thou and the people which thou hast brought out of the land of Egypt, unto the land which I swear to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, saying, unto this seed will I give it, and I will send an angel before thee. That's that first fruit angel I just told you about. And I will send an angel before thee, and I will drive out the Canaanite, and the Amorite, and the Hittite, and the Perizzite, and the Hivite, and the Jebusite, unto a land flowing with milk and honey. For I will not go up in the midst of thee, for thou art a stiff-necked people, lest I consume thee in the way. God said, I'm not going to go with you because you might piss me off, and I might kill you right there on the spot. So I'm not going to go. God got a bad temper. I understand. Some things just piss him off. He says, you guys can piss me off, I'm going to kill you. It's plain as simple. That's all. And until I'm glad I don't have God-like powers, but there'd be a lot of dead people. Unto a land flowing with milk and honey, and I will not go, and I will not read that again, for I will not go up in the midst of thee, for thou art a stiff-necked people, lest I consume thee in the way. So you know I didn't make this up. And when the people heard these people heard these evil tidings, they mourned, and no man did put on him his ornaments. For the Lord has said unto Moses, say unto the children of Israel, you are a stiff-necked people. I will come up in the midst of thee in a moment and consume thee. Therefore now put off thy ornaments from thee, that I may know what to do unto thee. And the children of Israel stripped themselves of their ornaments by the mount of Horeb. Okay, well, let me see. Let me move on over. God, Moses ended up wiping them out. But that was good for you to read that, to see God got a little temper there. And he only deals with so much stupidity on our part. The Bible says spirit will not always strive with man. So you guys keep testing God and tempting him. Be careful. You get to a point where you get to see that other side of God. It's like we all got other sides. We keep getting prodded and pricked by someone. This is God's. He made us in His image. So He got a side that's piss him off. And he'll wipe you out. It's plain as that. We're fanning butts about it, so I wouldn't tempt him if I were you. The Bible said, "A day if you hear His voice, harden not your heart." Okay. Numbers 14:6. Turn to Numbers 14:6. Okay. And Joshua the son of Nun and Caleb the son of Jephunneh, which were of them that searched the land, rent their clothes. Let me start up here. Go to Numbers 13:33. Numbers 13. Let me give you. I'm going to read the backdrop to you. And there we saw giants. Now God sent 10 spies to go spy out the land of milk and honey, the land of the Canaanites, the Perizzites, the Jebusites, all the ites. And 8 of the spies came back, and this is what they're saying what we're about to read right here. Only Joshua and Caleb saw God. They saw giants. Yeah, these were real giants. On my social media, I got pictures of giants as tall as 30 feet. I mean, the giant that David fought was anywhere from 12 to 14 feet. I mean, just go look at the tallest basketball player and add about 7 more feet. And that's about what you're going up against. And there we saw giants, the sons of Anak, which come of the giants, and we were in our own sight as grasshoppers. That's true. If you're looking up at a 30-foot, anywhere from 14, 30-foot giant, you're a grasshopper. And so we were in their sight. They should have been looking at God. They forgot about all the miracles and how God drowned old Pharaoh in the Red Sea. They forgot about all that stuff. Only Joshua and Caleb remembered that. And all the congregation lifted up their voice and cried, and the people wept that night. And all the children of Israel murmured against Moses. Now, God takes it personal. When you murmur against God's man that's leading you, and today it's apostles, prophets, evangelists, pastors, and teachers, God's gift to the church. We're God's gift. This is Brother Jay, your gift. If you're following Street Priest Ministry, I'm your pastor here. And God takes it personal when you murmur against God's ordained leadership. Let's see what he said. And all the children of Israel murmured against Moses and against Aaron. And the whole congregation said to them, would God, oh, here we go. This is when you go dip into an insanity. You dip into insanity here. When you get to accusing God. Would God that we had died in the land of Egypt? Or would God we had died in the wilderness? God brought us out here this far, took us all this to die at the hand of giants. See, God said, I'm going to give you the land of milk and honey. But you got to fight for it. God's not going to do like he did with Pharaoh and his army, where he did all the work. Now, you got to do some work. And by the way, since I'm on this topic, great time to state, put on the whole armor of God. The whole sorry Christian church is sitting around and turning into ostriches, praying mantises, sitting around and won't get off their duff and get on the battlefield and go fight the enemy. This is a perfect example of this bunch here. They want God to do all the work. No, God gives you armor, gives you training, and tell you to go out there and fight the giant. I'm going to enable you to fight the giant, and I'm going to give you the victory. But you got to put some work in. That's the problem with the lazy, lackadaisical, sorry church world. They want God to do all the work. They done took themselves out to fight. And the devil's laying on his back, rolling, just laughing, having a ball. And how sorry the church become with all this buffoonery and circus antics. That's why we read this book. So you get this book's a war book. They done reduced it down to a fairy tale. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, and Peter Pan, and Goldilocks and the Three Bears. This is a war book. This ain't no fairy tale book. These are God's warriors, God's killers. That's what we read this book for. To brainwash you with God's word. To get you out of the traditions of being made void the word of God. By the fairy tales. And wherefore the Lord had brought us out into the land to fall by the sword. They're accusing God, say, why it was better for us to die in Egypt. Better us die in the wilderness. I mean, this is how you get insane. What difference does it make where you die? Dead is dead. I mean, it's a better place to die than the other place that they now making. See, this is when you get out of sync. You slip into insanity. Even in the New Testament, when it talks about the prodigal son, it says he came to his sanity. He became insane when he got out of his father's will, and went and started spending his inheritance with whores and partying and having a ball in this world, symbolizing once we get out of faith and slip into whatever, we become insane. That's how God looks at you. They sound crazy. Better us to die here, better us to die there, better what? That sounds like that's crazy talk. And wherefore hath the Lord brought us out of this land to fall by the sword, and that our wives and our children. Oh, here we go. That's why Jesus said, if any man come after me and hate not wife, mother, brother, children, and anything in his own life, including his own life, he can't even be my disciple. And wherefore hath the Lord brought us out here in the land to fall by the sword, and that our wives and our children should be prey. Were it not better for us to return unto Egypt? It's good old-fashioned backslide. You want to go back, Egypt represents a type of sin. Bondage to sin. You going your own way. You're doing what you want to do. You want to take yourself out the battle. Better to be a slave than to be a free warrior fighting to get the land of milk and honey and get your lot that God is going to give to you. Better to be just a slave in bondage. Go back to slavery. See how insane they sound? It's better to have a tent on your own land than to have a royal slave hut and be in total bondage and servitude 24/7. See how they mindset, see how when you get out of sync with God, you look totally insane, sound insane, act insane. And they said to one another, let us make a captain and let us return to Egypt. Here comes sedition. They're rebelling against God's man. And let's see how God feels about it. Then Moses and Aaron fell on their faces before all the assembly, because they know how God is. They're trying to head it off, but they know what God's going to do. Then Moses and Aaron fell on their faces before all the assembly of the congregation of the children of Israel. And Joshua the son of Nun, and Caleb the son of Jephunneh, which were of them, they searched the land and rent their clothes. And they spake unto all the company of the children of Israel, saying, the land which we passed through to search it, it is an exceedingly good land. And if the Lord delight in us, then he will bring us unto the land and give it to us, a land which floweth with milk and honey. Only rebel ye not against the Lord, neither fear ye the people of the land, for they are bread for us. Their defense is departed from them, and the Lord is with us. Fear them not. They saw God. They didn't see the giants. But all the congregation bade to stone them with stones. Let's stone them. They want to stone Moses and Pastor Moses and Pastor Aaron. But the congregation bade to stone them with stones. And the glory of the Lord appeared in the tabernacle of the congregation before all the children of Israel. And the Lord said unto Moses, how long will this people provoke me? And how long will it be if they err? They believe me. They have no faith. They have apistas. Remember? Guys that's been around now, you know what apistas is. Faith going in reverse. For all the signs which I have showed among them. This congregation has seen more signs than any man and woman in the face of the earth of that day. They had no reason not to doubt God. All the miracles he showed them, the plagues of Egypt, pardoning the Red Sea, him raining manna down from heaven to feed them. Pillar of fire by night and a cloud by day to shade them. I will smite them with pestilence and disinherit them, and I will make of thee a great nation and a mightier than they. Now, God said that before when they built that calf. He said, step out the way, Moses. I'm going to wipe them all out. 2.25 million people I'm going to exterminate. And I'll take these rocks that surround the mountain and we'll raise up some people and we'll continue on. And believe me, God could do it. Nothing's impossible with him. He sure could do it. And Moses said unto, remember Ezekiel, I just taught on that, in the valley of bones. He brought them bones to life, put flesh on them, and they started breathing. Sure, he could do it with rocks. Nothing's impossible with God. Jehovah Peter. And Moses said unto the Lord, then the Egyptians shall hear it, for thou brought us people out. From thou, he said, the word's going to get back to Egypt, and they're going to say you're an evil God for bringing them out here and killing them. So Moses is trying to talk about it. And they will tell it to the inhabitants of the land, for they have heard that thou, Lord, art among his people, and thou, Lord, art seen. See, Moses said, you need to work on some PR here, Lord. You're going to look bad in front of the other nation. That thou art among the people, and that thou, Lord, art seen face to face, and that thou cloud standeth over him, and that thou goest before him by daytime, and in a pillar of cloud and a pillar of fire by night. Now, if thou shalt kill all this people as one man, then the nations which have heard the fame of thee will speak, saying, because the Lord was not able to bring his people unto the land which he sware unto them, therefore he hath slain them in the wilderness. He's going to make you look bad. He will say you didn't have enough power and stamina to bring them all away. And now I beseech thee, let the power of my Lord be great, according as thou hast spoken, saying, the Lord is long-suffering and of great mercy, forgiving iniquity and transgression. Moses trying to remind him, remember, you're a good God. You're a good God. Don't be a bad God, God.